If you stood backstage in the late 1960s, you'd see a woman waiting in the wings. An unusual profile, a different kind of voice. She's not pretty, they'd say. She should get her nose done. But she didn't listen. Her name was Barbra Streisand, and she wasn't just singing. She was waging a war to stay herself, to be rejected, and still to win. This is Barbra's journey from Brooklyn's narrow streets to Hollywood's brightest lights, and from there to living by her own rules. 30 scenes, 30 resistances, 30 victories. And perhaps for the first time, you'll hear the fragile heart behind that powerful voice. April 24th, 1942, in a small apartment in Brooklyn, Barbara Joan Streisand was born. Her father, Emanuel, was an English teacher. Her mother, Diana, a secretary. But the home was incomplete. There was no money, no warmth, and very soon, there would be no father either. When Barbara was 15 months old, her father died. Sudden, unexpected. Emanuel left and only silence remained. Barbara didn't remember him, but she always felt his absence. Did my father love me? She'd ask her mother. Diana wouldn't answer. She'd just look, stay silent, turn away. Diana remarried, but she was distant with Barbara. You're different, she'd say, but not with love, with accusation. Barbara would look at herself in the mirror. What am I? There was no answer. Just that unusual face, that big nose, and that voice. At 13, she sang in a school show. For the first time, it wasn't silence. There was applause. You're amazing, they said. Barbara couldn't believe it. Really? And something inside her awakened. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was her way. After finishing high school, she went to Manhattan. She wanted to be an actress, not a singer, but no one saw her as an actress. You're not the type, they said. You're not pretty. Barbara was hurt, but she didn't give up. I'm different, she said, and different is powerful. She started singing in small nightclubs in Greenwich Village. Bon Soir, The Lion. Barbara would take the stage. Strange clothes, exaggerated makeup, but that voice silenced everyone. Who is she? Don't know, but she's magnificent. A producer said, "Get your nose done and I'll make you a star." Barbara looked at him for a long time, then answered, "No, this is me, and it won't change me." The producer was shocked. "You'll regret it." Barbara smiled. "Maybe, but I'll regret it as myself." Her first album, the Barbra Streisand album, was released. Critics were amazed. She won a Grammy. Best New Artist. She was 21. On stage, her eyes welled up. "Thank you," she said. But inside, something was still empty. Mother hadn't come to congratulate her. Auditions were being held for Funny Girl on Broadway, the role of Fanny Brice, a comedian, not beautiful but talented. Barbara auditioned. "You're perfect," they said. "You are Fanny." Barbara understood. This wasn't just a role. This was her story. Funny Girl opened. Barbara was on stage. She sang People. The audience cried. Critics stood and applauded. Barbra Streisand became Broadway's star overnight. But in her dressing room, she was alone, and still she waited for her mother's approval. William Wyler wanted to film Funny Girl, and Barbara would play Fanny again. Her first film, Hollywood. Fear and excitement. "I can do this," she whispered. And she did. The Oscar ceremony. Best Actress category. Barbra Streisand, Funny Girl. Katharine Hepburn, The Lion in Winter. A tie. 2 women, 1 Oscar. Barbara walked to the stage. She was shocked, happy. "Thank you," she said. But even that night there wasn't complete peace, because she still had something to prove. Barbara didn't just want to act. She wanted to be involved in production too. I'm going to voice my ideas, she said. Studios were uncomfortable. You're just an actress. Barbara objected. No, I'm an artist, and I will be heard. She starred in and produced A Star Is Born, wrote songs, performed Evergreen. The film broke records. Barbara won an Oscar. Best Original Song, her second Oscar. But some said, she's too controlling. Barbara didn't respond, because she had won. She read a story. Isaac Bashevis Singer's Yentl the Yeshiva Boy, a Jewish girl who disguises herself as a boy. Barbara wanted to make the film. I'll direct, act, and produce. Hollywood laughed. Impossible. Barbara said, watch me. It took 10 years. Every studio rejected it. Women can't direct. You're too old for this role. No one will watch it. Barbara didn't quit. I will do this, she said. However it takes. Finally, Yentl was filmed. Barbara directed, acted, produced, wrote songs, controlled everything. Because this was her vision, and she didn't want anyone's interference. When the film came out, critics were divided. Some praised it, some destroyed it. Barbara's an egomaniac. Barbara's controlling. Barbara was hurt, because she'd only wanted to do her job well, and she was being punished for it. Yentl won a Golden Globe. Best Director, Barbra Streisand. The first woman. But in the Oscar nominations, her name wasn't on the Best Director list. Barbara understood. Hollywood hadn't forgiven her, because she had pushed boundaries. Barbara stopped performing on stage frequently, didn't give concerts for years. I'm afraid, she said openly. I experienced stage fright. People were shocked. You're Barbra Streisand, Barbara answered. Yes, and I'm also human. After 27 years, she gave a live concert. Las Vegas. Tickets sold out in minutes. Barbara stood on stage. She trembled. Then she sang. And the world remembered. That voice was still there. Barbara married twice. Elliot Gould, then James Brolin. She searched for love. Sometimes found it, sometimes lost it. I don't have to be perfect, she said in an interview. I just want to be loved. As I am. Barbara was politically active. Women's rights, LGBT rights, environment. She donated money, founded organizations. Staying silent is complicity, she said. Some criticized, you're just a singer. Barbara answered, no, I'm a citizen. She founded the Streisand Foundation, donated millions, education, environment, human rights. Not many talked about it, because Barbara didn't like the spotlight, just the impact. In the 2000s, Barbara entered her 60s. She was still singing, still powerful, but the world had changed. I'm not young anymore, she said, but my voice is still here. She gave a special concert. Raised in Brooklyn, she returned. This is where I'm from, she told the audience. That poor girl is still inside me, and she's still singing. The crowd stood. They understood. Barbara had never really left Brooklyn. Brooklyn had never left her. Diana Kine died at 93. Barbara's relationship with her mother had always been complicated. Cold, distant. But when Diana died, Barbara felt something unexpected. I wanted her to say she was proud, Barbara said later. She never did, but I survived anyway. She released a new album. Encore. Movie partners sing Broadway. Classic songs, duets. She was 74, but that voice was still crystal clear. I don't stop, she said, because music doesn't stop. She did her final tour. Barbra, the music, the memories, the magic. Worldwide. Every concert felt like a farewell. But Barbra said, "This isn't goodbye. This is thank you." She wrote her memoir. My Name Is Barbra. Her life, her struggle, her pain. I was always different, she wrote, and that made me strong. In the book, she finally told her mother's story. The coldness, the distance. I spent my life trying to be good enough, she wrote. And then I realized I always was. People always asked about the nose. Why didn't you change it? Barbra would smile. Because it was mine, and changing it would have meant I agreed with them, that I wasn't enough as I was. That decision, that refusal, became her signature. Not the voice alone, but the courage to stay herself. Barbra Streisand went down in history as the woman who didn't change her nose. But she was so much more. She was the woman who turned no's into yeses, who took control, who didn't hide her age, who refused to be silenced. She showed that you could be difficult, demanding, ambitious, and still be right. Today, Barbra Streisand is in her 80s. Still here, still powerful, still herself. And the world looks at her, because she wasn't just a voice, she was proof. Proof that you can win by staying yourself. That the nose you're born with can become iconic. That control isn't a dirty word when a woman demands it. And that voice, that legendary voice, will echo forever. Because real power comes from not changing, from saying, this is me, and I'm enough. So how do you remember Barbra Streisand? As that voice, or as the resistance that chose to stay herself? Share with us in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another journey through the legends who refused to change.